Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to Pinball FX2. So we've done a Marvel pinball table, we've done a Star Wars table. I really like the Star Wars pinball The Force Awakens. Now we're going to start with our first of just the extras. So we'll do Portal today, and then we'll do The Walking Dead, and then we'll start going just down the line here with all these other single licenses. Some of these, like Mars and Excalibur, I think were Season 2 core ones, but I don't see a real reason to make a special point of that. We've already gone through the main first 4 cores, so we've seen where they started, and we've probably seen one of their latest ones in Star Wars The Force Awakens. But today we're doing Portal, Guide Cell and Wheatley through the Aperture Laboratory, so that's kind of Portal and Portal 2.
Estás usando este software de traducción de forma incorrecta. Por favor, consulte el manual.
That is weird, speaking in Spanish. Okay, what's our 2 achievements? Complete 6 test chambers and defeat GLaDOS on the Portal table. Alright, that would be nice to do. Unlock and collect all 5 extra balls at the cake target on the Portal table. Yeah, I don't know if we'll get either one of those, but let's begin. Load interior. It is a little weird that this loads at all. It seems like their engine may be a little slow. You would think that there'd be some kind of core pinball engine that loads just as the game loads, and then there would be less data.
Again, welcome to the Aperture Science Computer-Aided Enrichment Center.
Yes, I knew someone was alive in here.
Yes, so this is very much Portal 2 more than Portal 1, because Wheatley wasn't in Portal 1. So we spelled Portal. We have a six test chambers. We have an Atlas, and Peabody are both from Portal 2. There's the elevator right in the middle there. There's a reflector and a laser receiver. Actually, oddly enough, they got rid of the energy particle in the first game, and instead went with the laser puzzles, and that's what the glass cubes are on the side. So that would be kind of cool if a laser went through those at some time, but it would be a little distracting. A lot of things on the walls. That looks like an entire section over there that the ball might get up to, but I doubt it. A lot of stuff. Here's GLaDOS, of course, right there. Now, in Portal, GLaDOS talks like crazy, so that's an interesting thing. Let's just do this right and look at the table guide instead of playing a little bit and then reading. The skill shot adjusts the strength of the plunger to shoot the ball through the portal on one of the 3 platforms, so you have to do that. The bonus shot will be available with the raised cross ramp. So there's even a super skill shot, or not really super skill shot, just kind of the portal's gonna come out in the center, and then you're gonna try and hit it again. This is the mode starter right in the middle. That seems kind of easy, depending on how often that is unlocked. Test chambers. Each test chambers you must navigate to the exit button, which could be anywhere. So that's sort of Portal-like there. Once the door will be opened and the elevator will be called. Shoot the ball to the elevator to do it. There is the Ratman mini play field is just hidden under the table. That is cool. And that is a full little pinball there with 2 ramps and 2 other drop-down targets and 1 central lane. But there also looks like there might be turrets that shoot at your ball during this. And that's just completely hidden under the table. That is cool. To unlock Wizard mode against GLaDOS, you need to complete 5 test chambers in the Ratman mini playfield. Shoot the ball in the elevator once more to start the final battle.
Deploying.
Glass fundamentally must disable the neurotoxin vents that are all around the sides there. Ooh, that seems a little complicated. Hit the sinkhole to summon the bomb, a bomb core, then find a way to hit Flawless with it. A bomb core is apparently a different type of ball you play as, and maybe it's a little bit different heavy. Turret Factory unlock, hit the bumpers to fill the Turret Factory letters, and the dot matrix display was completed. Shoot the ball under the raised bumper to locate the Turret Factory. Alright. And the Turret Factory is down here again, although it's slightly different at the top there, because now there's not two turrets shooting at you, and it's a slightly different thing in the central path. Atlas Peabody, shoot the two central mini loops to spell Atlas Peabody was complete to shoot the ball in the lock hole to make the testing robots arrive. Once both robots are present, the mode will automatically start. That sounds like a multi-ball to me. Cooperative testing, shoot the five lift lanes to score jackpots. The super jackpot will become available on the raised cross ramp. That's the super jackpot, I guess, going around Gladys. After hitting the super jackpot, you can complete multi-ball mode by shooting the elevator and continuing to score until only one ball remains. That's weird that there's an ability to actually end multi-ball. Why would you want to do that? After shooting the right cross ramp, the locked target will summon for a short time. Quickly shooting the ball here will summon a personality core on the measurement. Once 3 cores have arrived, the personality core multi-ball will be released. Okay. And then we shoot around here. I'm going through a little bit slower here. I actually do want to learn things here. And there's the laser, the pivot cube. That's what I figured was going to happen at some point. And the lab rat hurry up is with these drop down targets. They spell lab rat. And then the extra ball is done by hitting that when it's lit. So I've seen enough here. Let's resume the game.
Hello, and again, welcome to the Aperture Science Computer Aided Enrichment Center.
Right now my view is
I knew
locked.
someone was alive in here.
Come on.
Try to jump across.
So that's... See, that's the problem though. That's like 7 minutes to read all this, and that's the thing I don't want to have happen, is I don't want the first 7 minutes of every one of these videos to be annoying. Speaking of annoying, the blue and yellow rubber bands around the flippers is thematically appropriate, but...
No, don't worry, I've got it.
But kind of a distraction too.
Please proceed to the chamber lock.
You see, that seems real easy to be able to be one step away from starting the first mission. That's nice. So this is another one of these wider tables, at least somewhat wider because it has 3 lanes. It's not, it doesn't feel as wide as the Star Wars one though. And even though I know there's that hidden mini play field, for the, when that mini play field isn't in use or play, we are...
If at first you don't succeed, fail 5 more times.
Try to jump across.
And see, you're controlling that arrow on the screen here.
Are you alright? You're okay.
And each time you hit the bumper, you spin the pivot cubes. Interesting. So you pivot the cubes. They're not called pivot cubes. So So my super score just went up. I think I locked one for multi-ball already.
The turret factory. This way, I think.
See, I'm still trying to hit that central ramp, and I'm gonna have to get really good at hitting that elevator if I want to start. There we go. Begin the first test chamber. Oh, I get to pick. Alright,
These
fine.
ridges are made from natural light that I pump in from the surface. If you rubbed your cheek on one, it would be like standing outside with the sun shining on your face. It would also set your hair on fire, so don't actually do it.
So I just started test chamber 5, and I'm looking for the outer loop path here. There's a companion cube just floating in the middle of the screen.
You really don't need to be failing.
It just disappeared, but it was right there on the ramp. Let's see.
Try to jump across.
Shell there at the bottom.
Oh, we just made it out.
Missed that bonus
I'm pretty
shot,
sure we're going the right way.
but at least I got a skill shot. That's nice. So Shell's gonna walk around
There we
and
go. It's cool.
add distractions again. So now I get to pick it. Let's see.
This
Sentry
next test
turret
involves
training.
turrets. You remember them, right? They're the pale spherical things that are full of bullets. Oh wait, that's you in 5 seconds. Keep trying.
So we've got a multi-ball going. A pretty bad multi-ball. So far I'm not doing very well. Keep the balls moving and give them some actual targets to hit. There's quite a lot of like opportunities missed in that. I'm hitting basically nothing as far as the sound effects are implying. Maybe I am getting score and it's just not making any response. This seems wrong. Definitely. I should be getting some audio feedback here and just am not. I mean, I'm right in the 2-ball multi-ball, and I don't know what I'm supposed to shoot at. I don't
Was
know
that course
if I've
too
hit
difficult?
anything. And I don't think I finished that level correctly, because it didn't stay lit afterwards. So that's confusing.
The upcoming tests require you to work together as a team.
So now here's the
Was
co-op
that
thing.
necessary?
See, there was a little bit of weirdness in Portal 2 in that they put in this co-op thing. That was really fun, sure, but also kind of it's hard to play nowadays because there aren't that many people
Yes.
that you want to actually do puzzles with that are also playing a game as old as Portal 2. So you're missing out on that whole section, but you still have a pretty massively large game in Portal 2. It's very good. I've covered it. And in fact, I believe I covered it in 2016, maybe 2015 last year. I gotta
This
pick
next
something.
test applies the principles of momentum to movement through portals.
And
if the
it
laws
still
of
very
physics
much
no longer
stands
apply
up.
in the future, God help you.
As a good game. It's a shame that Valve seems to be allergic to the number 3 because there probably won't ever be a Portal 3. That's a joke. Of course, in reality, Valve is just run by too nice of a guy, so he doesn't force anybody to make anything they don't want to force. And by the time anybody's made 2 games, they are not super interested in making a third. Like, am I going for the central lane? That's the thing that's flashing.
This close and you're going to fail me?
Jump! Actually, look at it. That's quite a distance, isn't it?
Don't listen to him. Jump.
Oh, have you got
So
an
if
idea?
you don't know any of the story, though,
Fail
Portal,
5
you're
more
probably
times.
getting a little spoiled in this table, but then why would you buy this table if you didn't like Portal? Wow, 31 min here.
That's tremendous.
It's been fun. Don't come back.
You'll know Gladys doesn't like you at one bit if you know the story of Portal, and you don't have to spoil anything more than that. Wow. Super score is now up to 208. I have played 7 tables. That puts me at 1456 for my wizard score.
Hello and again. Welcome to the Aperture Science Computer Aided Enrichment Center.
Uh-oh.
Honestly, I think there's
Please
too
proceed
much
to the
ambition
chamber.
too in Valve, because they really wanted to
You're okay! Great, come on!
have like maybe Chell show up in Half-Life 3, and they can't really ever release Half-Life 3 and satisfy all of the people that they've hyped it up to, and people that have hyped it up even though they haven't said anything about it in a long, long time. Let's see, Central Turret Training, Thermal
This next
Displacement
task
Speed.
involves discouragement redirection cubes. I just finished building them before you had your, well, episode. So now we'll both get to see how they run.
Chell is, well, GLaDOS is actually very funny when you know the whole story and everything. And see, the weirdness, particularly for me, is I've never actually played any of the Half-Life series besides Portal, which is barely in the same
The turret
universe.
factory.
Really?
This way.
It's kind of, it could
Keep
easily
moving,
be
just
in
keep
a
moving.
separate universe.
Oh, have you got an idea?
So eventually I'm going to play the Half-Life series for as many things there are of that, and the fan things, and get really hyped about it,
Fail 5 more
and
times.
then never really see a conclusion to that tale.
Where'd you
And
jump
then I'll be
across?
like most
Are
fans,
you alright?
probably at that point. But at the very least, I know that I probably won't ever see an ending, so I won't be expecting it. I've seen the video game industry long enough to be cautiously optimistic of any promises of sequels
I'm pretty
and
sure we're going the right way.
completing stories that end on cliffhangers. And frankly, I rate games poorly if they do end on a cliffhanger. So if I do go play like Half-Life 2 Episode 2 or whatever the latest game is, I probably will
There we
just
go. It's cool.
express frustration on the fact that they didn't bother to give you a complete story there, which no complete story equals no complete product, regardless of how good the parts you got were. Like, you can make the argument that
Oh, here we go.
not finishing stories and having a complete tale. I mean, you can leave it open for a sequel, but there's a difference between leaving a story open to a sequel and not finishing the tale you actually meant to.
That is not
To
part of
show.
the test.
Here we go, Rat Man. So do I have to hit all these? Well, whatever I have to do, it's not happening.
Where are you?
So you have to hit, I think, all these a couple times. See, no, it
I know you're there. I can
seems
feel
like there
you
might be an
here.
order here,
What are you doing?
like some kind of random order. Maybe it just picks a side.
You haven't escaped, you know.
There we
You're not
go.
even going the right way.
And that's one turret down. We collect everything. And I wasn't
When the
paying
testing is
attention,
over, you will
so I
be
dropped the ball.
missed.
So you have to hit those ramps in whatever order it was. Was it telling me the order in the LCD screen? I bet it was. I wasn't paying attention to that.
That is not
Let's try
part
this
of the
again.
test.
Follow the clues to disable the turrets. So,
Where do you think you're going?
oh man, I am screwing that up. So, wow. It is easy to lose the ball down here. Come on, how many? Even I don't deserve this many chances. This game is being too nice
Where
to
do you
me.
think you're going? I'm not angry. Just go back to the testing area.
Now, notice that it only was one turret here. So, by resetting it, I guess, like, maintain progress. That's nice. So it's one of these inner loops. Well, still didn't get it, so if
When
I...
the testing is over, you will be missed.
So maybe I should just try that mission
Keep
yet
moving. The factory
again.
entrance must be around here somewhere.
I would say if that is probably a boring way to play, but the right strategy. Try to make as much progress each time if you can't get it done on the first try. Of course, if you want to become an expert at this pinball table, you're going to have to eventually get good at
Walk over to the elevator and continue
doing
testing.
these test chambers on the first attempt.
That is not part of the test.
So Ratman in again.
Uh-oh, somebody cut the cake. I told them to wait for you, but they cut it anyway.
Now, you could have very easily here had GLaDOS talk too much. But I think they've got
I'm not
the right
kidding now.
amount.
Turn back or I will kill you. I'm going to kill you. And all the cake is gone.
Come on, get this ramp. Come on, get this ramp. Up that ramp. Almost, and I blew it again.
When the testing is over, you will be missed.
So playing a lot more strategy here than I have in any previous table because I've actually been able to.
There we go. It's cool.
Dude, there is something kind of simplified here.
That is not
Just
part
keep
of
on
the test.
trying.
Uh-oh, somebody cut the cake. I told them to wait for you, but they cut it anyway. There is still some left. Hurry back. I'm not kidding now. Turn back or I will kill you.
Darn it. Get up these ramps. Man, how many times is
When
that?
the
That's the tip
testing is
number
over, you
5.
will be missed.
And see, this might very well be how a lot of professional pinball players play, they'll sit there and they will just start the same mission over and over again,
Please proceed
trying
to
to
chamber lock.
defeat it, trying to get that one shot. Like, I don't know what the level of like world competition on pinball is. If somebody going for the world record on a pinball table would play 8 hours a day or 16 or maybe just 3 or 4, I wouldn't even be really
That
surprised
is not
if
part of the
it's
test.
only a couple hours. So attempt number 6 here.
Somebody cut the cake. I told them.
My score's going up at least.
I'm not kidding now. Turn back or I will kill you.
Come on, get these central lanes.
When the testing is over, you
So
will be.
another 900,000 points to get up to to raise my all-time high record.
How can you fail at this?
We
It
got an
isn't
extra
even
ball.
a test.
New record been set at that. My super score
Look who's
keeps
back.
going up.
Were you scared to continue those tests?
Try to jump
See,
across.
does that mean that there is no way to turn off the notification of your super score going up? It may very well be the case, but after you've played for about an hour on every table, you're
Here it is.
not going to see
Turret
that
factory entrance. We made it.
very often.
Okay, no, don't worry. I've got it.
All saved, because like one good game is all it takes.
The upcoming tests require you to work together as a team.
Multi-ball.
Just stop it already.
There is something to say about the experimentation of the co-op mode in Twitter, because it really doesn't strike you just on the first thought as a game that would thrive having co-op. Doing puzzles with a second player seems like an insanely annoying idea, and it can be, certainly.
You really don't need to keep failing.
But they play with that, and they make the game part of that,
Try to jump across.
and they make it so you're limited in your communication. There could have been a major different experience if you could just turn on voice chat and talk to your friend. Let's
That is
rat
not
hand in
part of the
again.
test.
If you could just talk your way through puzzles, it would probably be a lot easier to do the puzzles, but then you wouldn't have the great, like, they have this gesture system that you have to use, and this pointer system to point where you want them to go.
I told them to wait for you, but they cut it anyway. Still somewhere.
Switch over here, lock it down, and fail again. Man,
When
I
the
am
testing
failing
is
like
over,
crazy.
you will be missed.
This will be the only game in which I attempt this. Like all
That
other,
is
I'm
not
gonna
part of the test.
see. Is this fun to watch? I kind of have to wonder how much fun watching other people play pinball is in general, even if they're really, really good. On a rare occasion, I'll watch somebody on Twitch, not Twitter, play pinball, just because I so rarely get to play it myself, but it's really an act of desperation. It doesn't feel like I'm actually playing it at all. It's really just leaves me kind of sad and wanting And again I fail, man.
When the testing is over, you will
And the
be
game's not
missed.
doing anything as far as I can tell that's making it more difficult. I think I just got really lucky. And we're just trying to run up the score here.
If at first you don't succeed,
And we failed
fail
at that.
5 more times.
So I guess music is playing in the background, but it's very easy to
That's
ignore.
tremendous.
Because
been
it's
fun.
Portal music, and
Don't come
there's
back.
only one Portal piece of music that anybody would probably even recognize, and that is the opera song sung at the end of the first game. Everything else is, I mean, easy to ignore. So 44 million there, and no achievements.
Hello.
And I still didn't get that Ratman thing, so I'll actively avoid the Ratman puzzle for the rest of the plays, unless I get all the other test chambers done, and I'll keep it much more varied.
Okay, no, don't worry. I've got it.
Not a lot of Wheatley going on here, but that's alright. Wheatley didn't really have any great lines of dialogue. I suppose since the voice recordings of the game already exist, it's probably unlikely that they needed the voice actors to come back and do any more work for
Proceed to
this
the chamber
game.
now.
Every single piece of dialogue I've heard so far seems very much just from the game. Or one of the two games, one or two.
If at first you don't succeed, fail 5 more times.
Oh,
That wasn't
going
very good.
faster, which was not expected. Uh-oh.
Well, it might be more accurate to
This
say
next
that
test involves discouragement
all
and
of Wheatley's
redirection
good
cues.
lines are
I
also
just finished building
tied
them
to
before you mentioned
spoilers.
them. Well, episode. So now we'll both get to see how they
But he
run.
really doesn't have as good of a set of things anyways compared to GLaDOS, who talks throughout the course of both games almost non-stop.
Oh, have you got an idea?
And then poor Chell never speaks at all.
Hurry!
And Chell's a great
God,
example of the silent protagonist there,
how can you fail at this? It isn't
allowing
even a
the
test.
player to insert themselves into the main character and not be thrown out of
Jump across.
that
Oh,
decision
we just made it happen.
or that belief or that
There we go. It's cool.
the narrative inclusion. It's also weird that the light-ups on the 3 lanes are yellow dots sometimes, but sometimes they spell out Portal too. It just changes. I guess that's for different modes. Seems like a weird thing to do in a pinball game. And then we have the portals,
Great, come on.
but the portals could just be drop-down targets, so that's not something I would say is impossible to do in a real pinball table. In fact, so far, with a few exceptions on the outer edges,
Federal regulations require me to warn you that this
Like,
next test chamber
it
is not
seems like
really
all of this could be made into a real pinball game. And maybe there was a Portal pinball game made. See, now it spells Portal, or no, now it spells Funnel. It changes depending on which one you're doing. Interesting. Interesting idea.
The turret factory should be this way.
You can't give up now. Anything? Take your
So
time.
you could put like little screens,
This
on it.
close and you're going to fail me?
but you wouldn't even probably need to do that. You'd probably have a multi-layered LCD screen that just spelled different letters, and one would light up and the other would go clear. Or stay black.
Are you still thinking, or what's
for. I'm not sure what I'm actually aiming for. That is a pretty consistent problem with pinball games, is you just have no clue. I think I'm supposed to be aiming for the drop-down targets over there on the top right. Oh, what's behind the drop-down targets over there on the top right? And that's it. That seems like a difficult thing.
Pretty sure we're going the right way. Pretty sure.
Have a chance of hitting. See, you can only really hit those targets by bouncing off
This
a bumper.
close and you're going to
And that's
fail
kind
me.
of random. Oh wait, maybe it wants
You're
me to
doing
go
a
up the
great
middle.
job of disappointing me.
So I ran out of time there. There's some blue goo.
You really don't need to keep failing.
You couldn't do that in a pinball thing.
Oh, that's
Try again.
tremendous.
It's been fun.
It's
Don't
funny,
come
it's
back.
been 36 minutes and it feels like it's only been about 10
Hello,
minutes.
and again.
I probably
Welcome
spent
to
a lot of
Aperture
time
Science,
trying to do the
computer-aided
Ratman thing.
research.
One good game could go an hour. Longer even. There's really nothing stopping a pinball game from going for as long as the player can play. I bet there's a Guinness's records there of somebody playing pinball for 24 hours straight until passing
Please
out,
proceed to the chamber
or
now.
playing the same game for that long.
You're okay? Great, come on.
I imagine all you would, I guess, have to do is just hold the ball here, and technically you would be playing pinball for as long as you want if you're just going for time. But there's probably something programmed into pinball games where they just say time is running out, you've been playing for like 4 hours.
This next test applies the principles of momentum to movement through portals. If the laws of physics no longer apply in the future, God help you.
So
Momentum,
shoot those
a
ramps.
function of mass and velocity, is conserved between portals. In layman's terms, speedy thing goes in, speedy thing comes out.
Central lane. Got that.
Jump. This
Actually, look at it. That's quite a distance, isn't it?
Don't listen to him. Jump. You can't give up now.
keep moving, just keep moving.
Timer is ticking.
Your time.
The turret factory should be this way.
Missed it. Come on. Got it. How many times do I have to jump through it though? I wonder. 2 of 4.
If at first you don't succeed, fail 5 more times.
So there's a certain number of times I need to do it. Looks like 4.
Oh,
And I
going
did it
faster,
twice.
which was not expected. Are you alright?
A sneaking target there.
There we go. It's cool.
Behind that ramp. I didn't see that there. So unlike the Star Wars one, let's see.
Federal regulations require me to warn you that this next test chamber is looking pretty good.
I don't think I've done this one before. Like, you have all 6 of the missions lit up and clearly labeled right there on the where you can see it, right under the above the flippers. And that's something I felt was missing. But that being said, I still
Really
kind of
don't
like
need to
the
keep failing.
Star Wars one a little bit better than this one. It seems like there's a little bit more variety in the Star Wars pinball. It's wider, and that wideness really adds a lot to the game. If I was gonna really compare it, I probably like the story of Portal more than I do Star Wars, particularly since I haven't even seen The Force Awakens. But
this next test involves turrets. You remember them, right? They're the
I think the pinball just has more thought put into it, more levels. The thing I would say is, it's nice that in this one you can start any of the test chambers and go in random order, so there's a lot of variety there.
You may want to try and avoid those
the
turrets.
Star Wars wanted you very much to play the missions in order, so you probably won't, but on very rare occasions, even see the last few missions until you became a major expert on the table and could beat all the missions blindfolded. So in the multi-balls, the problem always is I don't know what the goal is, and I can't really take my focus away from just keeping the balls in play. So you kind of have to know what you're supposed to do even before it starts. Let's see, hard light bridge.
These bridges are made from natural light that I pump in from the surface. If you rubbed your cheek on one, it would be like standing
really
outside
easy
with
to
the
start a
sun
mission in
shining on your
here.
face.
So even if
It
you're
would
not
also
good
set
at the
your hair on
missions,
fire, so don't actually do it.
you still have a good chance of experiencing them even if you can't succeed at them.
I'm pretty sure we're going the right way. Pretty sure.
Oops. There we go.
This isn't that hard. You really don't need to keep failing.
Again, I was shooting specific lit up lanes there, not sure how many more I needed to shoot.
That's tremendous.
It's been fun.
It
Don't
just,
come back.
while you get a lot more opportunity to start things here, you get less opportunity to actually
Hello.
complete things. There are more difficult tasks than the Star Wars one.
Please proceed to the chamber lock.
Two tables really good to compare them to, because let's face it, in comparison to the original core tables, which are kind of boring and just sort of cheap knockoffs of real pinball tables, these have a lot more going for them. They've embraced the fact that they're going to be video game digital only, so they can have 3D models walking around doing stuff, which I don't really appreciate that anyways, though, because then it's just a distraction.
Try to jump across. Are you alright?
There's certainly some licensing things here too that make it more interesting. The fact that this is a Portal pinball game helps it a lot. If it wasn't a Portal pinball game and we were just doing the exact same pinball machine under some other theme, like if this was just called Robot or something, that wouldn't be quite as fun. In fact, and if they called it Robot, it would feel like they were ripping off one of the most famous pinball games that came out, which was, I think, called Android or Cyborg. I don't remember what it was called. And that was a very famous real pinball machine, one of the older ones. So. What it had is it had this robot eyes in the middle of it, and they were like
If I made
magnetic
these tests
sockets,
any easier, they wouldn't be
and
tests.
you had to put the pinballs in, lock them into the eye sockets to start multi-ball, and it's pretty cool. And it may have been a first in there. That it may have been one of the first ones to have a electronic moving part or something like that. I don't think it was the first to have multi-ball, because multi-ball has been in pinball for decades. Saved myself by
There we
spelling
go.
Portal.
Cool.
You can definitely see how they could have gone crazy here and had portals just all over the field, moving the ball all over the place. But that would add such a lack of control, and as I've said
That is not part of the test.
before, when it comes to experts playing pinball, they are 100% about control. They want to control the shots. They want to know where the ball is going and not just randomly hit it somewhere.
What are you doing?
Nope. Darn it. Come on. Screwed with that.
When the testing is over, you will be missed.
And see, I'd forgotten about the underfield. The fact that the underfield disappears like
The
that,
upcoming tests require us to work together as a team.
it's kind of a shame it shouldn't disappear. Because a lot about pinballs convincing people to put the quarter in the first place is their appearance. And if there's an entire section that's hidden, like you would then have to work really hard to work past that and educate the player that, oh, there's this whole hidden secret playfield that you can't see right now.
Are you broken? It looks like you're malfunctioning.
One of the ways they can certainly fix that is having an attract mode that would play the ball. That's why sometimes pinball machines will shoot a pinball just out in flashlights like non-stop when nobody's playing it. They're just trying to gather people's attention as much as possible.
Pretty sure we're going the right way. Pretty sure.
Waddle over to the elevator and we'll continue the testing.
A lot of carnival barker mentality going on there. Let's see. Which one do I want? Hard light bridge. Advanced
This
portal
next
thing.
test
I don't think
applies
we've
the
done that
principles
one
of
too much.
momentum to movement through portals. If the laws of physics no longer apply in the future, God help you.
Now, I'm not a real fan of the Ratman section drop-down targets. They are just in the completely wrong place. Hey, I just hit her. That's cool.
If at first you don't
I hit her with the laser.
fail 5 more times.
Where's the jump across? Are you alright?
Let's see.
Let's keep moving. The factory entrance must be around here somewhere.
I kind of wish there was one more thing going on here. It really doesn't feel like we're doing too much with GLaDOS there. GLaDOS is just
Great, come on.
spinning around. The multi-ball, 3 multi-ball lock, we've made no progress with that at all. Let's see.
That is
Try
not part of the
right-handed
test.
again. Give it one more attempt. Oh, I'm so bad at this. It's the speed and the angles. The fact that the tables are smaller. speeds everything up. Also, the pinball is smaller because when you think about the perspective here, either the pinball is the exact same size as a regular pinball, and we are looking down on a table that is several feet away from where
When the testing is over, you will be
our
missed.
thing is, or the pinball is actually smaller, the flippers are smaller, and the ramps are smaller, which is, if you're going to make a real world equivalent of this game, that's exactly what it would be.
There we go. It's cool.
I played a Family Guy, the real Family Guy pinball game was kind of like that too. It
This
had
next
this
test involves
speed
discouraging
playfield
redirection
where
cue.
you played with
I
tiny
just
little
finished
BBs
building it before
basically.
you had your, well, episode. So now we'll both get to see how they find it.
So a little bit of talking there and a break in gameplay. That's a problem. Anytime we have to, the game just by default stops the ball from moving. It's a pain. That's not how you want it to go. And then if I have to hit the button to skip, that's still an opt-in.
Are you still thinking, or what's happening?
And I would prefer it to
Hurry!
be well, actually it's an opt-out scenario. I'd prefer it to be an opt-in. I mean, I guess pinball's never really adopted the idea of just asking, have you played this game before? Do you want instructions in each level? Like, just...
You can't give up now.
Would you like to play in hard mode with no breaks?
Keep moving, just keep moving!
Yeah,
This close and you're going
only
to
a
fail me.
handful of pinball machines, real world pinball machines,
You're doing a great
have
job of
different modes of
disappointing me.
gameplay, and usually it involved just putting a
How can you
heavy
say that?
ball
It
in the
isn't even a
playfield
test.
instead of a regular pinball, which could change a lot. In fact, even make a few
That's
shots
tremendous.
It's been
potentially
fun.
impossible.
Don't come back.
Let's try one more
Hello.
time.
Again. Welcome to the Aperture Science computer-aided.
We never do anything with a weighted pressure plate. We never do anything with the button. Those things are on the screen. We never really do any of the jumping tricks that you end up doing in Portal. The excursion funnel doesn't ever actually do anything, it seems. The light bridge doesn't seem like it ever does anything. There's a lot of elements from Portal that you would think would be better integrated into this, and they're mentioned, but only as just props, not used as actual elements in the game. And there's no way you could skillfully spin these
If at
redirection
first you don't
keys.
succeed, fail
That's-
5 more times.
That's really just randomness there. There really is no shot you can do.
Try to jump across.
You kind of have, at best, you can try and
Uh-oh.
flick a ball that's been stopped upwards to hit these bumpers that are directly above the flippers. At best, you can try something like that. And that's about it. And usually that doesn't work either. Good
Pretty
pinball
sure we're
players
going
can
the right
usually
way.
flip the ball from one flipper to the other by stopping it and really quickly doing that, but
You're okay? Great, come on!
nothing else works. Don't get to break any monitors. That
You
seems like that
really
could have
don't need to
been
keep
a thing
failing.
you could have done. There was a whole section where, as an extra achievement, you could break
jump across.
monitors.
Uh-oh.
And see, there's, if getting into spoilers, which I guess I have to do here,
This next test
There's a whole
involves
section where
discouragement redirection cue.
GLaDOS
I
is
just
no
finished
longer
building
in
it before you
charge.
had your,
and
episode.
everything kind of
So now we'll
changes
both
halfway
see
through the
the
game
tiny-
in Portal 2, and that element seems to completely be non-existent here. Almost certainly this Portal table is only available on Steam, by the way. I seriously doubt they would make a license agreement to have this table show up on the... Well, I mean, they might. Valve likes money more than they like exclusivity, so they very well may have sold this on
You
Xbox,
can't give up now.
Xbox One, Xbox 360, and Xbox One, PlayStation. If there is a
Let's keep
PlayStation
moving. The
version,
factory entrance must be around here somewhere.
I think actually there isn't a PlayStation version of Pinball FX at all, because Zen Pinball may have come out on PlayStation as an exclusive, and then they made a bad deal there and decided we want to be on everything, so we
If
have
you don't
to call it
succeed,
Pinball FX
fail
now.
5 more times.
That may well have been what happened, I'm not sure.
That's tremendous.
It's been fun.
We got
Don't come
a
back.
couple more minutes, so we'll play one more time. It's unlikely I'm gonna do super good.
Uh-oh.
We got the sludge there that I fell into in the middle of the skill shot attempt. Of course, sludge wouldn't work in a real pinball game, but
Please proceed to
you
the
can
chamber.
simulate it. You can paint sludge on the playfield, and you can make splashing sound effects.
The turret factory. This way, I think.
Let's see.
This next test involves turrets. You remember them, right?
Just press the button and skip these.
That are full of bullets. Oh wait, that's you in 5 seconds. Good luck.
So what am I trying to hit? I'm trying to hit the central area. No, slightly to the right. So I mean slightly to the left of the central one. There we go. Got it once. Now slightly to the right. That.
You may want to try and avoid those turrets. If I made these tests any easier, they wouldn't be tests. How can you fail at this?
See, I
It
was
isn't
making
even a
progress
test.
there. Making a little bit of progress there.
Are you alright?
Never locked a single ball towards a triple multi-ball. I think it has to...
You're okay. Great,
See,
come
I
on.
don't even know what you need to do to cause that to happen. Actually, I saw it in the description and had forgotten it. I guess it didn't matter since I never made any progress towards that.
There we go. It's cool. I'm pretty sure we're going the right way. Pretty sure.
And so you're kind of in this weird
These bridges are made from natural
weird way
light
in
that I pump in from
evaluating
the
these
surface.
tables
If you rubbed
because
your cheek on one, it would be like
this
standing
is a
outside
fine
with the sun shining on your face.
table.
It would also
But I
set
could
your
see
hair on
it
fire.
being done
Or does
completely
that?
done using the Portal license, and probably integrate the license a little bit better. But it's still a fine table. It's a fun table. If I was only going to get one, I would still get the Star Wars Episode 7. No, not Episode 1, Episode 7, Force Unleashed table. I think you'll have
Moving.
more
The
fun with
factory
that
entrance must be around here somewhere.
in the long haul. Of course, if you buy the Star Wars DLC, it probably is going to give you 4
You are
different
doing
Star Wars
wonderfully.
tables. Hey look, the ball changed into a black, Jewish color. What did I do to cause that to happen? 2 double kickbacks there.
You really don't need to be failing.
So that was pretty good.
Try to jump across. Uh-oh.
Now we're back to a nice silver color in our pinball. So it's a little weird that reflections by default are turned off on this, and you have to enable them in the graphics menu. Like,
That is not part of the test.
I think by default they should be able to recognize most modern PCs can handle the reflections just fine. You're really not going to strain a modern video card. If you have an 800 series, if you have a 900 series or a 1000 series NVIDIA, something equivalent AMD, I think you'll probably do just fine. Of course, always check the true minimum recommendations, not what I say. But I could also see, though, that this would be a great game for a laptop player. Somebody with just a really weak Intel HD graphics, integrated graphics or something. Because of the general, usually repetitive nature of playing pinball. That I can see that being helpful on a portable system a little bit more, in a weaker system. But that shouldn't be the default. The default should be the game should detect your hardware and make assumptions
fail 5 more times.
by default accordingly, and then make assumptions on the side of being overpowered and taxing the graphic card and looking good versus a smooth gameplay. Although that is a difficult decision to make, because I think most players probably would prefer smooth gameplay over visual graphics. So you have to find that right balance where it's equally smooth gameplay at like 30 frames per second solid and good graphics. And that's generally your target. That's not what I meant to do though. Let's see. Let's exit to the menu here. So we'll continue doing what we're doing. We'll look at the leaderboard. 3 billion, 2 billion, 1 billion, 1 billion. Super score. I think the super score and the pinball scores are the same for every table. I've said this every time because it seems like it's the same people always. And then of course no friends, and I'll do this whole series and have no friends because actually not a lot of people have friended me on Steam, even though the link is down there. Steam limits the number of people you can friend if you're not at a low level based on their trading card system, that the more badges you craft for trading cards, the higher your level, the more friends you can have and stuff. So if people don't get into that whole rigmarole garbage with the trading cards, I could see maybe you only have 5 slots and you wouldn't want to friend a random person. But I'm at a very high level because I am kind of obsessed with the badges and stuff and the trading cards, so yeah. But even if I did have a lot of friends, I'm not sure how many of them would play Pinball FX2, so same thing. So we did Portal, we did Marvel, we did Star Wars. The next move is to go do Marvel, and then the next Star Wars, and then we'll do The Walking Dead. Interesting on The Walking Dead that it is a license of the Telltale game and not a license of the TV series or the comic book. That probably has more to do with when this license was made and the popularity there. If a Walking Dead game came out today, it would almost certainly be based on the TV series or the comic book and not season 1 of the Telltale game. Although it would still be kind of a tight choice. Anywho, that's it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment if you want to, and watch every second of my videos. All of that helps out. If you want to support me further, you can click on my name, Rydo. On the right will be a blue button that says support this channel. Click it, make a donation. And if you want to friend or follow me on basically any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.